2023. It is 7:30 p.m. I'll do a roll call. Director Decker.
Here.
Director Slater-Carter.
Present.
Director Boyd is here, and Director Sofsky is not here. Director Young is not here. But we do have quorum, and we're going to proceed. Tonight for the President's statement, I'm just going to observe. We've had rain, and that's great. And encourage everybody to keep an eye on the rain gauge that we have on the MWSD.Montara.org website. We've got links to a couple of different rain gauges. One is our hydrogeologist balance hydrologics. That's kind of my favorite. There's also a NOAA rain gauge, but we're off to a pretty decent start on the new rain year, and so kind of a nice condition to be in as we go into this holiday season. So I wish you all a happy holiday season, a safe holiday season, and hope for the best for good health and enjoying what our community and our friends, family, and neighbors have to offer. And with that, let's go to oral comments. Do we have any oral comments for items not on the agenda?
No.
I see none. Okay, let's go to, we have a couple of public hearings. First one is review and possible action concerning establishment of Prop 218 limits for solid waste disposal fee increase. And
thank you, Scott. So we go through this process every year where in accordance with our contract with Recology and an agreed upon formula, we calculate rate increase for the coming calendar year. And that was calculated to be actually at 7.87%. Because there is a 6% cap in the contract, we're asking for a 6% rate increase for the year 2024. And the 1.87% that we're cutting off the 7.87% are essentially kicked down another year and can be tagged onto the year 2025 if that is below the 6% rate increase margin. So we did mail notices in October to all property owners and notified them about this public hearing tonight, and planned actually for this process. But I think we actually have a problem tonight because the vote requires a two-thirds vote to pass. We have 3 directors in the room, so I'm going to suggest that we start talking about a timeline and a process. And now that this is happening, of course, I need to converse with Recology about this. But what I'm asking at this point is that we immediately start the Prop 218 process again, send out new notices, and set a new timing for the new public hearing.
I have a question to Christine. Christine, is it possible to go through the public hearing itself and then continue this item to a date certain so we can get a proper number of votes for this?
Good question, President Boyd. But I would recommend against that. I don't think that would comply with the Prop 218 notice requirements, holding a public hearing and then continuing it. Without the 2/3 board membership at this point, there's no grounds to hold the public hearing. I think a renotice and a full public hearing in accordance with the timeline set forth in Prop 218 is.
If I could just ask, it's a fine point, but the public hearing doesn't require the 2/3. The vote requires 2/3, and the vote happens after the public hearing is closed.
That's correct.
That's what I'm asking about. If the
Correct.
public hearing has been held according to the, the proper notification, proper notice, and all of that, would that allow for the possibility of taking the vote at a continued, oh, actually, here comes our fourth vote. So,
Great.
Because I couldn't answer it
okay,
while I was driving.
okay, so let the record show Dr. Young is now in attendance. Let's do this. I'm going to open the public hearing and we'll take any public testimony. We'll look at any written protests, and then we'll close the public hearing and move on to the next steps. So do we have any public testimony on this item? I'm not seeing any request for public testimony. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
And a second. So Catherine moved and Peter seconded. All in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The public hearing is closed by unanimous vote. So now, the chair is going to ask the clerk to complete the tabulation and announce final number of valid written protests and whether a majority exists.
Tracy, how many votes did we get?
So we received 0 votes, and there is no majority exists.
You mean 0 protests?
I'm sorry.
Madam Clerk?
We
Thank you.
received 0 written protests, and no majority exists.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So that means that the board may adopt the fees. Is there any board discussion on this item?
I think it's been a long negotiation. We have a good relation with ecology. They continue to provide good service.
Catherine, if you could lean forward and speak into
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
microphone, please.
We have a good relationship with Recology and they provide good service. And I am glad we can continue to work well with them.
And I didn't get the chance to mention that we have Glenn Bongi and Rich Lancer from Recology, just in case the board has any questions.
Do we have any further board discussion on that? No? If not, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Let me look carefully at this. The recommendation is to adopt the ordinance. Next in order, ordinance of the Montara Water and Sanitary District establishing maximum rates for the collection, removal, and disposal of refuse and for recycling services effective January 1, 2024. Yeah, Catherine.
So moved.
Okay, you're making the motion. Peter, you're seconding. I will do a roll call vote. Director Decker.
Aye.
Director Slater-Carter.
Yes.
Director Young.
Yes.
And Director Boyd votes yes. The motion carries 4-0. Okay, with that, let's go to the next item for public hearing. Review and possible action concerning adoption of a revised master fee schedule to amend the solid waste disposal fees. Let me do this a wee bit different than last time. I'm going to open the public hearing now. And now if we could have the staff presentation.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Yeah, so now we established a new Prop 218 limit in the prior agenda item. And so this agenda item will essentially manifest those numbers in our master fee schedule. So we're asking just for the adoptance of our master fee schedule, which is an ordinance. And now with the revision of the new solid waste disposal fees in the master fee schedule. Thank you.
All right, so the public hearing is open. Do we have any public comments? Any public testimony on this? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so Catherine moved and Peter seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Okay, the public hearing is closed by a vote of 4-0. Tracy, can you complete the tabulation and announce the final number of valid written protests and whether a majority exists, please?
Okay. We received 0 written protests and no majority exists.
All right, thank you. That means the board may adopt these. Do we have any board discussion? I think we've had a number of really good discussions. I'd like to thank staff and Recology both for making sure that by the time we got to this point, we had a lot of discussion, especially for the public, and to make sure that we have a really good idea of where we are, how we got here, and what the next steps are. It's a very good position to be in. Can I have a motion to, actually, let me make sure I'm looking at the right recommendation here. Okay, now a motion to adopt the ordinance next in order, ordinance the Montara Water and Sanitary District restating and amending master fee schedule.
So moved.
Director Young makes the motion.
A second.
Director Decker makes the second. As it's an ordinance, roll call vote, Director Decker,
Aye.
Director Slater Carter,
Yes.
Director Young.
Aye.
And Director Boyd votes aye. So by a vote of 4-0, the ordinance is adopted.
I'd like to say one thing. I have noticed over the years that Recology's been very cooperative about picking up dumped trash items that are not at someone's personal property, but just get dumped by random individuals. And I think that's really nice on their part to do that for the community. And they should be cheered for that.
Thank you. I agree. I've seen Recology step up to that a number of times, and it's a good community service. And I think it when people have seen, trash out and about, and then Recology steps in to clean it up, I know that this serves to create some goodwill, and I applaud it as well.
And even though it wasn't our district, they did pick up the poop and trash that was left at the new Murata Bridge, because nobody from the county had arranged for pickup. And it's really Recology. I mean, Republic Service, but because that's where the side of the bridge where the trash receptacles are. But GCSD called Recology and they picked it up one time since the ribbon cutting. So that was really nice of them too.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Let's go to new business item 1, receipt of Association of California Water Agencies Joint Powers Authority President's Special Recognition Award.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, so about 10 years ago, we had a workers' comp claim that resulted in really elevated rates for the district. We had to pay a lot of money for our workers' comp insurance. And we were lucky to switch at that time to Aqua JPIA, who helped us get this to help us lower this payment. And we're paying a lot less now with Aqua JPIA. And they're also very, very good at providing training, checking in with us. So I'm very happy to work with Aqua JPIA now. This is now the 8th recognition award from Aqua JPIA. So our safety has increased. Our guys are hopefully staying safe, and we don't want them to get injured. So this is not only insurance, but there's a lot of prevention that's provided here. And this is for board information only. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. I'll just read a small bit from their letter. The JPIA recognizes members that have a loss ratio of 20% or less in either the liability, property, or workers' comp programs. And the members with this distinction receive the President's Special Recognition Award certificate for each program that they qualify in. The JPIA is extremely pleased to present Montara Water and Sanitary District with this special recognition and commends the district on the hard work in reducing the claims. Congratulations to you, your staff, board, and district. Keep up the good work. Now, this kind of recognition deserves taking a moment and really offering our heartfelt appreciation, not just because it saves money, but because we care about the people who are doing the work. And it does take a lot of work to get into a situation where people work together well and work together safely and are trained appropriately. And I want to say thank you to all of you, because I know it takes putting in a lot of time and effort just to get to where doing the work it can be done safely. So this is terrific. Thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. All right. We are now down to reports. Do we have anything for Sewer Authority Midco side?
No, there was a finance committee meeting today. That's, and we are at the last meeting, there was a, very well done report on our preparedness for the rain that's coming in. Staff is doing what they can, to improve on what they learned from the last 2 years. We did approve a study to find out where the excess flows, making it into the plant, not onto the grounds, but actually into the functioning plant. We're trying to figure out where they come from. So we have a person who is doing that study.
Do you have a basic time window when we might hear something from that study?
I don't recall it.
Okay.
I did speak to Keishan today, and he said this last rainfall, the heavy rainfall on Tuesday, caused a 4.5 million gallon a day flow, which is about 3 times the usual flow, but it was well below the flow that gave us all the problems, which was 17 million gallons a day
Or more.
or more.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Sid?
Not on Sam, but related, the One Shoreline had their meeting this week, and I listened on video, and I asked a question because the other members didn't bring it up. Len Matterman said that they had planned to have a stream gauge, or I don't know, maybe it was a flood gauge installed in the Pillarcitos Creek so people downstream could be warned when it gets higher. But they put them in down in Pescadero, and they have not put them in near Half Moon Bay yet. So I kind of stressed that it was important because we got our worst storm in January of last year, or this year, sorry.
And last year.
And well, that's true too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, Debbie Ruddock is on that board, and I don't know if she later talked to him about it or if they're just not going to install it till they get around to it. But I really think it's urgent that they.
Well, we have that study forthcoming that should indicate to us exactly where the flow is coming from. That's a $38,000 study that Sam is presently undertaking.
Well, let's hope they'll get the flood gauge in there, because last year several residences in Half Moon Bay flooded, not just the Pillarcitos Creek flooded in various places. So, and the sand plant, of course, was affected too. So anyway.
All right, thanks. Do we have anything on the Mid-Coast Community Council? Greg, did you have something for us? Or I see your hand.
do. Yes, yeah, I do. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. At our last meeting, we elected new officers for the Mid-Coast Community Council. They are Chair Gus Matamal, Vice Chair Greg Diegas, Secretary Ann Rothman, Treasurer Scott Bollinger. Looking ahead to January 10th, our meeting there, I expect we will have these two items on the agenda. Of course, this is subject to revision, but for now, it looks like we will be discussing the Moss Beach Fire Station renovation, leading to presenting a comment letter to the planning department. And we will also discuss the remodel of the El Granada School, leading to a comment letter. I'm aware from residents and from the council's discussion at the last meeting that dark skies issues exist, as well as in the case of the El Granada School, something about the view corridor traffic. I'm not an expert on either yet, but we will be studying those and discussing them on January 10th. In the future, you can expect a session on stormwater management and Montara Mountain. Ray Mueller did inform me that the Department of Public Works is looking at developing a stormwater management plan, and that the chief financial officer has agreed to set aside some funding every year out of Measure K to fund reserves to handle infrastructure such as stormwater management on the Mid-Coast. I have nothing in writing, and I have no details on the amount or timing of those funds, but I'm passing on what he's told me verbally. Any questions?
I'd love to know at some point, not now, but when they say stormwater management, are they talking about cleaning weeds out of gutters, or are they talking about actual infrastructure work? But it sounds like some of those details remain to be forthcoming. So I just want to express my interest when they do. I'm interested to hear what you learn.
All right, Scott, I look forward to sharing it with you.
Thank you. Do we have anything for CSDA? Or
There is going to be a meeting coming up. I missed the organizational meeting due to personal affairs, but it's moving along.
Okay, and then on LAFCO?
Nothing, the meeting's on
Okay.
odd numbered months.
Okay, great. Anything, Christine, attorney's report?
Yes. I just wanted to apprise the board of, and you probably already know, but AB 574, I think it was adopted, it was some legislation passed in 2017 that required the State Water Board to adopt uniform water recycling criteria for direct potable reuse through water augmentation. This past Monday, the board, after about, I think, 13 years, finally developed those regulations. And they governed the introduction of recycled water, either directly into the public water system or into a raw water supply that's immediately upstream of a treatment plant. And I wanted to bring this up tonight, especially because there's a local, regional, no, it's regional, there's a local effort in the Bay Area. It's a potable reuse project called the SF Peninsula Regional Pure Water Project. It's a collaboration between, I believe, 7 wastewater and water agencies that has been exploring opportunities for potable reuse in the Bay Area, San Francisco Mid-Peninsula area, I should say. They've been analyzing a potential project for 7 years, and the project has been the initial project is continuing to be funded, and these new regulations will inform, how it proceeds forward over the next 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 years. And so I think that would probably provide a great resource for developing potable reuse on the coast side.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, Christine.
Mhm.
Do we have any director's reports? Clements, anything to add to your written general manager's report?
No report this meeting.
Okay. In fact, there's no written one either this time. This is the short agenda meeting. Yes. So
At the beginning of next year, are we going to switch officers and positions, like who's on what committees?
this is an annual activity.
In
Yep.
the beginning of next year, not like MWSD already did theirs. I was just wondering when we do ours.
No, we are MWSD.
I meant MCC.
Yeah.
I pointed to the
They're
screen.
on a different schedule.
Yeah.
We're on the sanitation district code.
So when do we do ours? That was the
January.
question. January, okay.
And we may or may not change officers, and we may or may not change committees.
But that's when we would do it if we are going to do it.
That's right. We have a
Okay.
regular annual
That's,
meeting where
we discuss it.
we discuss it and
Thank you. Just
make
asking.
choices. All right. So that ends the open session. We are going to take a break and we're going to come back in closed session. We're going to have one item. This is conference with legal counsel on existing litigation in the case with Half Moon Bay suing Renata, Montara, and Sam. With that, I thank the public, wish you all happy holidays, safe with just enough rain, not too much. And we look forward to seeing you in the new year. So we're in recess, and we'll come back in for closed session at, but we'll try for 10 after.